Thanks for coming. What are your best hopes for meeting today?
I guess I want to feel better about the behavior in my class.
Ah. And what difference would that make if you felt better about the behavior in your class?
Well, I don't want to come home and be in a bad mood and have like all the tension and be thinking about all the bad things that happened and how I felt about it and just have that carry on throughout the evening.
And what difference would it make if you came home and you were able to deal with things differently?
I mean, I would be enjoying life more. I would be able to better interact with my family
Yes.
and not want to just go hide.
Um, so with this, I know your initial gut reaction was to talk about the behavior in class, but if we figured out a way to help you enjoy life more, would that be a good use of our time?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
so
I mean, I do think that my biggest problem of not enjoying life is that.
well,
So I
no,
do
we'll come
think
back to that. It'll be connected, but it's not. We're just not going to compartmentalize it. We're gonna look at a more holistic thing. Is that cool?
yep.
Okay. So I know this is going to be crazy, but a miracle is going to happen. Some point in the near future, a miracle is going to happen. And the thing is, though, you're not going to know when it does, because it's going to happen when you're sleeping. And then when you wake up the next morning, things will be different, and you're going to have that enjoyable life where there's better behavior, or at least you don't. At least you're able to do stuff when you come home. What'll be the first small signs when you wake up that that miracle happened?
Um, well, I think I feel I don't know, kind of more energized. I mean, I probably will still be tired and everything, but like I will be, um, I don't know, just kind of that more excited about going to work rather than dreading
Okay, so when you're excited to go to work, what else would be going on?
it.
What would you be doing? Yes, you'd be energized. Yes, you'd be excited. But what else would you be thinking and doing?
Well, I mean, part of it is when I'm energized, I'm thinking like I have more ideas about teaching. So on the drive-in, I'm like, oh, I could do this or I could do this differently. Um, versus just trying to zone out, I guess. I mean, zoning out is fine, but yeah, I like that. I like to have lots of ideas of teaching.
Okay, so you'd be thinking about teaching when you're driving in.
Yes.
Okay, and what else would be going on?
I think I enjoyed like little things. Like I just enjoy my coffee. And I enjoy the warmth of the car. and um, I enjoy like the walk in the really cold air and how it's dark and still. And so rather than like worrying, I'm like more in the moment.
So when you're in the moment and you're enjoying this stuff, like your coffee and the walk in the cool dark air and the warmth of the car, and you're able to think about life and teaching and what helps? What do you do to help yourself? What are you doing on this day when you're able to stay in the moment?
I mean, like what is my brain doing, or what
No,
am I physically doing?
what are you doing? Like there are certain times that everybody's able to better stay in the moment. When you're having this and this miracle's happened and you're able to stay in the moment, what are you doing? How are you going to know?
Um, How will I know? How will I know? I mean, I can say how I feel. Is that what you mean?
Sure.
Okay. Like I feel calm and relaxed,
Okay.
and I think I tend to not like big smile, but kind of like that pleasant smile. And I'm like, so we can't get into work until 6:15. That's when the doors open, and so I'm right there at 6:15 every day, and I know exactly what time. But so like, I could be like standing there waiting, but then when I'm like relaxed, I'm like, I turn around and I look up, and if I can see stars or clouds or whatever, I'm like noticing that. So yeah, like I guess like physically, like I turn around.
So who will be the first to notice when this in the moment, calm, relaxed, pleasant Carly is existing?
Probably the people who would most notice would be my son and my husband until I
Okay.
come home.
So
um,
which one would notice first?
oh, geez. My husband probably.
Okay. So when Ryan walks in the door and sees you on this better day,
Mm-hmm.
how will he know that, hey, this is a good day with calm, relaxed Carly here?
So I I mean I would be smiling. I probably would have a funny story of some crazy thing a kid did. But I would be laughing about it. I would be, maybe sitting down with them, with Ryan and August, like, on the couch or something.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, yeah, I don't know, more
Okay.
engaging. Yeah.
Engaging. So when you're engaging and in the moment and you have your funny, energetic story, uh, is there anything else that's going to be going on when this better day is happening?
In that moment.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, like other things I would probably do then would, I'd have more patience to watch the random video that August wants to show me, or
Okay.
and then I would watch the next one too, and then he really wants to show me, or when he's telling me some random fact, like I would listen and follow up with questions, and maybe I would have the energy to do some learning with him, and I would also be able to respond calmly and lovingly with his behaviors as well, rather than saying, I can't take this anymore.
Well, when all this good stuff is happening, you're reacting calmly, you're asking these follow-up questions, you're engaging, you're in the moment, you're enjoying the little things like the coffee, and you feel calm and relaxed. Um, what are you doing to take care of yourself when all this is happening?
Oh, yeah. Wait, you mean like take care of myself? Um, well, I mean, the coffee is, it is the coffee. Um,
Well, you
uh,
said you like to think, and sometimes what you're thinking about is rejuvenating. Other times it's
yeah.
so. What do you do to get the rejuvenating thinking? Like I know some things that you used to talk about, but you didn't mention any of them here. Like what what do you do to help yourself on this better day when things are going well?
Um, tell myself and things. I mean, it's hard to do because I think of all the things I do when things are not going well.
Yeah.
Like when things are going well, I'm not doing as much for myself. I can do more for other people.
And okay, so let's go with that for a minute. So let's say if you just described a really clear 10 on 1 to 10 scale with 10 being butterflies, puppy dog, success, smile. But you're reacting calmly, you're smiling, sharing funny stories, you're more patient, you're in the moment. If that's your 10 and 1 is just the other end, where are you now?
I mean, maybe like a 6 or something.
Okay, well, you're already at a 6. Okay, so what things are working now to help you maintain that 6 instead of being a 5 or lower?
Okay. Well, one thing that I started doing is I started listening to this book, this audiobook about, it's called Connections Over Compliance.
Okay.
And so rather than thinking, okay, how do I get these kids to stop yelling things out? Sit down and, listen to when I'm talking. Like that's compliance, right? Like instead I'm thinking, okay, how can I better connect with them? And rather than seeing the behavior as like this thing I have to get through in order to teach what I'm supposed to teach, seeing it as, no, that's a big part of what I teach, is like how to form those connections and and then that leads to the being able to sit down and not yell things out. And, I could look at, recently started an essay, and their reaction was the most intense reaction I've had from them or from any student, a group of students, like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like really. And, I could be like, oh crap, like how am I going to get them to comply with this, right? But instead, and I did think that, but I also thought, wow, they are really anxious about this. And I wonder if like they're really thinking like, I can't do this. And that's like where that's, so like, and helping them realize, using that word anxiety and like, and pointing that out to them. So like I'm thinking, okay, this is also part of my job, is to help them deal with the anxiety that comes when a teacher says we're going to be writing an essay. So that lifts my mood, even though like it's still really hard. It's not like, oh, then the anxiety goes away, but I'm not dragged down by it.
So when you're helping them find successes and ways to help relax, and you're teaching them to form the connections, and you're listening to your audiobook, what else are you doing that helps you keep your 6?
I mean, I think another big energizing thing is just coming up with creative, like lesson planning and curriculum planning, and then also, learning about dyslexia is like super energizing for me, because I have a lot of students who really, really, really struggle with like teaching 6th grade at the 3rd grade level, kind of, so I'm, instead of just like, okay, this is really hard and this curriculum doesn't match where they are, and oh my goodness, this is frustrating. It's like, okay, I want to better understand exactly where are they and why are they at this 3rd grade reading level. And so obviously dyslexia is just one reason out of a lot, but that's one way for me to, I think analyzing is what keeps me higher, basically, and trying to work towards better understanding and being able to take different actions.
And although that's all vital, can you think of a time, maybe a long time ago, maybe recently, but preferably within the past year, where you did some stuff where it was easier to do all this? Or maybe where your baseline was like at a 7 instead of 6. Where you were, or even when maybe your baseline was at a 5, but you did some things that helped you spike up. Like, can you think of anything that you have done recently that helps you take that sigh, think clearly, be the calm, reflective, engaging Carly?
I mean, I kind of feel like I'm trying to figure out what you're thinking, but there are other things. So I don't know if this is what you're thinking, but another thing I did is like thinking of what I'm thankful for. So I emailed the people on my team, and just I feel really lucky that the other English teachers in my building, that they are all really hardworking, and they're not, we're just kind of getting by. Like, they're really hardworking people. So I really enjoy getting to work with people like that. So, I sent them an email to thank them. Or when on a really hard day, another teacher also had a really hard day, and we kind of talked about it, and just to hear how she, like, it kind of helped with the feeling alone, right? Like,
Yeah.
we were experiencing very similar things. And so just being able to share that. And then I think also just, having the, I also think just having the alone time, like before I would walk home, now I drive, and at first I was like, oh, this is very sad. I don't get to walk home, but I really love my drive. And because I like to either get to listen to the audiobook or get to listen to music and do the thinking and everything. And so it is kind of my alone time.
So your drive is the alone time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when I really need it, I take more alone time when I get home, but usually that's enough.
And when you have this alone time, when you're driving and you're able to put yourself in the spot you want to be, what are you doing that helps you stay at that 6 or higher to, like, for what's going on in here? Because alone time can be the kiss of death, or it can be salvation. So what are you doing on those moments when it's salvation?
I mean, either I can just listen to music and kind of not think about anything, or, not entirely be mindful because I'm driving, but,
Yeah.
kind of not worry and not think about what I have to do.
So what do you do instead of worry?
I mean, mainly I think about ideas, I guess. And that's why I like the audiobooks, is it helps me think of ideas, and then maybe I'll listen to music and think about them further. Yeah.
Totally. And for some people, they need some, like you mentioned you used to walk. And for some people, walking, like any kind of physical activity with it, is kind of a decompression zone. And other people, it's really like just that alone time that you mentioned. So tomorrow, you're going to be one step higher. You're going to be at your 7 tomorrow. And it's perfect because it's Monday. You're going back into... So tomorrow when you wake up, what'll be the first small signs that you've gone up to a 7?
I think a big thing would be, similar things to what I talked about. Like I would enjoy the coffee. I would notice the stars or clouds, and feel the cold. Another one is I really enjoy my boots because they really help keep me warm. I love winter clothing. And I, and then, like when I see the kids, rather than thinking about like, oh gosh, I didn't do this, and I have to do this still. Like I get to just enjoy them and talk to them. And
which kid tomorrow morning will be the first to notice that, Ms. Carly's at a 7?
The first kid who usually comes in is Nathan, so he probably would.
So what will Nathan notice tomorrow?
So instead of me like running around and saying, "Oh, I have to go to the coffee room really fast. Sorry, you gotta go to breakfast." Like I would, ask him about his weekend, or he would say something silly, and and I would respond to that. I would kind of take the time to chat.
Okay, so tomorrow morning when you're taking this time to chat with Nathan and you're asking about his weekend, and you're enjoying your boots and you're enjoying your coffee and you've noticed the stars and clouds, what else is happening? How are you going to show the other kids, not named Nathan, that Ms. Carly's at a 7 today?
Well, some days, like I feel like when I'm more relaxed, I don't know, like I'm kind of more jokey, and or I say like the other day when I there was the sheet that I printed off from somewhere and it had 2 name spots. I was like, well, that's weird that it has 2 name spots. Well, put your name and then put a nickname. Like mine is Carkeys, because when I was in 2nd grade, they called me Carkeys. So, like I throw little things in like that just kind of come out, because I'm relaxed.
And tomorrow when you're at your 7 and you're relaxed and jokey,
mm-hmm.
What's going to help that? How are you going to remember that, this is a good thing? How are you going to enjoy the moment tomorrow?
How am I going to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would notice, like I would feel, I mean, part of it's feeling, like I tried to feel it in my body. So, and I think that means like feeling the kind of relaxed muscles or feeling the smile muscles, and just kind of feeling, I don't know, it's like the focus is more just on that one kid at that one moment or that one.
So how are you going to remember tomorrow morning and maybe even at lunch at some point to notice these pleasant, relaxed muscles?
Oh, right. I do remember at one point put little reminders in.
If you would that be useful?
Yeah, that helps, definitely. I mean, I recently put a reminder in for myself. It was like just a phrase from that book, something like mine was a little bit different. Mine was like, I love and respect you and nothing you can do can change that. So like that helps me, like it reminds me of like my goal. And then it also, just having the words like love and respect, like that kind of helps focus me. But that doesn't necessarily help me remember how I enjoy it. That just kind of focuses me, right?
Sure. So, well, whatever. There are many ways to win. Like for me, I have to remind myself to breathe. It's everybody gets where they need to be when they need to be there. So that's like the kids. There's like you said, you're doing. I remember this guy named Ross Green that was big on big on special ed, and he said kids do what they can when they can, and teachers are kids too. We're just bigger, so we do what we can when we can. Tomorrow, when you're at your 7 and you have these relaxed, pleasant muscles, and you see that quote wherever you're going to put it, where are you going to put that quote?
I mean, right now I just have it scheduled to show up in my email. That's how I remember things. So it's just in a subject line of an email that pops up.
But then you have to be, I'm always stressed when I'm looking at my email, so that wouldn't actually be a good reminder for me. Is that a good reminder for you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you need any other reminders?
Probably. I mean, I can't think of anything else. That's how I remind myself of things. I don't know. I mean, I know I can think of other things, but I can't think of anything else as effective. Like I can think of, putting a little note for myself, but then it just becomes this background thing where that I don't really pay attention to.
Yeah. Well,
so I don't know. I love email. Do you remember that about me? Yes. I love email. So I don't think it's a bad thing to see that.
So you're going to have this reminder. You're going to do your self-scan, and you're going to notice these pleasant, relaxed muscles, and you're going to you're going to take time to talk to Nathan and about his weekend, and then the other kids too. Maybe be a little jokey. Um, what else?
I mean, now I'm thinking like teacher strategies. Is that okay to talk about?
If you want.
I mean, the other thing that like is really interesting, like coming into this new job and like this new setting, and like there's some. I mean, it's just a very different way of teaching, right? Like all the things that I valued before are not valued now. Not entirely, but not as valued. So like all this behavior stuff that I had done before, like I seriously just remembered it like a couple weeks ago. So like you mentioned rustering, like I just started doing that like a couple weeks ago, and I didn't do it all these months, and I kind of forgot about it. So that's something I've been thinking about, is just how I want to like meet one-on-one with kids, and like how to do that, because in the classroom it's very, very, very hard to do that for any length of time.
Yeah.
It's certainly not a calm conversation. So I mean, there's some kids I've done it and it's been part of like, well, you have to come in during lunch, but I've been trying to think like, can I pull them out of, during my planning period? Can I talk to the teachers and pull them out so it's not like it's a punishment kind of thing? You have to miss lunch. Although some kids really want to get out of that lunchroom because it's
totally
pretty chaotic. Yeah.
But when you're meeting, like you meet one-on-one to build these relationships, it sounds like in your 7, you're balancing what you notice and the needs of others. And so when you're finding this balance and you're reflecting and you're doing the self-scan and you're enjoying your coffee and your warm boots, is that pretty much your 7?
I think so. I mean, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So as we were talking about all this, were there any things that you noticed about yourself that you say, I need to remember that?
Any things I noticed? I mean, there's lots of stuff I need to remember now. There's making it more of a habit to look at the stars and the clouds, I guess, like rather than just on some days.
Okay, so
and not like what's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, and not like okay, no, I'm just doing this but like really enjoying it and not forgetting that is enjoyable. And I think just also that like the meeting with kids and the talking to kids like that, that's for them, but it's also for me, because then I feel better both in that moment and then, that builds.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, well, if you would like, we could follow up on this at some point in the future, or I could just send this to you, or both. What would be useful for you?
I mean, I guess follow-up is good, because then if I don't do these things, then I remember again.
If you want to follow up, we can follow up again. When would you want to?
But wait, are you serious?
But
now I don't know if this is fake or not.
No, I'm serious. No, this was all me being me. This is all genuine. So if you want to follow up, we can. When would you want to?
Oh, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a whole. I mean, even just like an email.
Oh, sure.
Like follow up like that, because then that can like just kind of remind me.
Sure.
And I like email.
Okay. When do you want me to send this email?
In 8 days, next Monday.
Next Monday. Okay. Easy. So next Monday. And if you decide you do want to chat as well, you can just let me know.
Okay.
Okay. And Thank you for meeting. I'll look forward to hearing about your inevitable success. Look for signs that things are working, and I'll look forward to hearing about it.
Thank you.